Hello folks, and welcome to Zero Profile Production, and next part, Sakura Forest Girls 2. So let's return to where we left off last time. I get on my knees and so does Ayana. Together the three of us crouch before Eri. I hope this gesture of deference is enough to prove how serious we are. I do anything to help Eri, no matter how back-breaking. I push myself to the limits if she asked, and I would let a single complaint pass my lips. What? That's just seem very straight to the point, Nelly. I can endure any hardship if at the end of it all it gives me a hint about Coco's whereabouts. I can't let this journey end in failure. We have come too far to give up. My. This is quite a sight. I never imagined the infamous witch Maya would one day bow before me. It's a novel experience. And I must say it's not all unpleasant. I could get used to this. Imala giggles and looks at Eri. So this wonderful, Your Highness. 3 talented, capable women are pledging their labor to you. You must be delighted. Yes, indeed. I did not think things would go quite this smoothly, but thank you for your 3 for the cooperation. I look forward to working with you. Do your best to appease me, and I shall listen to uphold my side of the bargain. Together we can save my village. And I'm sure we can find Coco too. Let us all do our best. So what do you think of the princess? She's quite dear, is she not? Yes, indeed. She seems a most agreeable person, despite her affections of grandeur, and it does not hurt her face is so very lovely. Isn't it, though? She could put the goddess themselves to shame. Imala gives one hand pressed to her mouth. Now it falls upon me to be your guide. I'll show you around the village to the best of my ability, but first there is something I wish to say to you. Yes? Maya narrows her eyes. What is it? Oh, it is nothing so serious. You needn't pull such a face. What I wish to say regards the princess. I know she would be embarrassed were anybody to overhear this. Imara glances over her shoulder at the twin guards still stationed outside the princess' tent. So I shall try to be discreet. Please come closer to my dear travelers and lend me your ears. I obey as does Ayana. Maya seems a bit more dubious, but she shrugs aside her concern and inches closer to Imala. What is it you want to say? Please hurry, for time is wearing on. How impatient you are. Hastiness is not a trait I'm fond of. But as your hostess, I shall comply. I want to only thank you for agreeing to help us. If you can alleviate the awful drought which has blighted our crops, I would be appreciated. Imala's voice drops to a whisper, low enough that it should be inaudible to the guards outside Eri's tent. And I'm sure the princess is most elated with your decision. Her feelings may not have been obvious to you. She often tries to disguise them, you see, but as the closest confidant were to me, Coco was her dearest friend, and she has missed her terribly. They would often sit and talk in the princess' bedroom about all kinds of things. They went for walks, combed one another's hair, and I believe they even slept together. Wow, my cheeks turned pink. I didn't know they had that kind of relationship. Goodness me. Mother raised her brow. What are you referring to exactly? Well, to say sleeping together, I don't know. It sounds kind of intimate. Hmm? Mala blinks, then she grins. Oh yes, I suppose it does. I can see why you may have misinterpreted my words, but I did not mean it quite like that. Close though they were, their relationship was not an amorous one. It was purely platonic. Oh, right. That's right. I guess I was getting kind of carried away. Eh. Really are a dirty girl, Yaja. Maya nudges me with her elbow. Perhaps you ought to douse yourself in cold water. That might rid you of your carnal ways. There's nothing carnal about me. I just made a mistake. It's all. So stop grinning like that. If anybody needs to dip in cold water, it's you. You're way lewder than I am. My, how cruel you are. Is that any way to address a woman who allowed you to sleep under her roof for 2 weeks? I am hurt you would throw my kindness back in my face like that. It would seem the pair of you have an interesting relationship, much like that of Princess and Coco. You're so close, I feel almost jealous. Imala giggles. Friendship is such a wonderful thing. It's truly a blessing. I hope you can banquet some of this blessing upon the princess. She has precious few close companions, particularly now Coco has left. The other villagers revere her, but do not regard her as a peer. They have spent their lives under the rule of the princess and her family, and they prefer to keep their distance. The princess tries to remain stalwart. Bless her heart, but she's still a young girl, and it is clear that she has been suffering. Many times have I tried to console her, but I fear my best attempts are in vain. I am older than the princess, and my position as the priestess forbids me from being too familiar. It would be improper. I cannot ease her loneliness, but this is some luck you girls should be able to. Yeah, you, Jaja, and you, Ayana, are close to the princess in age. She should prove to be responsive should you reach out to her. I know she would love to speak to you. For too many nights she has been in her own with nobody to comfort her. A soft sight sound through her residence its most heart-rending manner. I'm sure she cries into her pillows every night, wishing for somebody to embrace her as Coco once did. Oh, it's too sad for words. At night, huh? I frown. I doubt this is what the mother intends, but her dramatic commercializations are painting quite a vivid picture in my mind's eye. Yeah, Earth to Ayaja, are you still there? Eep. A squeak startled stare at my face is bright red. I can feel the heart emanating from me like furnace. My heart, meanwhile, is thudding like a drum. This was quite a detailed fantasy I just had there, about a relative stranger, no less. What is wrong with me? Are you alright, Jaja? Yes, I'm fine. Really? Well, I do wonder. My eyes are penetrating, and it feels like she can see right through me. Am I really that obvious? I need to get better at hiding these delusions of mine, or I might get into serious trouble. Erja, are you alright? Anna's sidles over to me, her voice pregnant with concern. Your face is very red. You don't have a fever, do you? Off the brain, maybe. But if we're talking about my concision, I would be fine. I'm fitter than a fully grown bear, in fact. Yeah, I'm alright. You don't need to worry so much, though I appreciate the concern. Anytime you are my dear friend, and your welfare is most important to me. I shudder to think how I feel if you were to get hurt. Oh, how lovely. You two make such a charming pair. I hope you can find it within your heart to extend some of that camaraderie towards the princess. Now, if you have a stern that Jaja is alright, may I guide you about the village? I would not wish for you to get lost during your stay. Himala shows the three of us about the village. She gestures to the fields upon which the people farm, which are mostly barren, and the fruit trees which are devoid of succour. Then she leads us to a river which is very shallow, the water nothing more than a puddle in a dusty, dirty ravine. It is far cry from the river we saw this morning. Those banks were green and verdant, its water clear and crystalline. The difference between the two is disparate, I frown. I know there's a drought and the water is scarce, but why is the river bone dry while the one in the forest was so full? It's not so far away from one another, they should be this different. That is quite a pertinent question, my dear warrior. Allow me to explain. Mala smiles. I have been praying by the riverbanks for rain so that I might keep that filled. It is through my intervention that it of the spirits we have water enough to keep farming. My powers are beginning to wane, however. I am not able to fill the rivers as once I was. The river close to the village, which is used to the most often, has already begun to run dry, as you should be able to see. Soon even those rivers further afield will suffer the same fate. My powers are being stretched to the limits. Try though I might, I cannot summon rain sustained enough to invigorate the crops or fill our rivers. It is a sorry state of affairs indeed, which has put quite a burden upon me. That is why we need outside help. You truly think you can aid us, Maya? I will do my very best. I have not lived as long as I without picking up a few tricks. Then I shall place my fate in your hands, which I am sure are very capable. Now, come on against the try, and I believe I have shown you all the three villages to see, and of its immediate surroundings. With these formalities concluded, I would like to give the pair of you some tasks. I will be busy preparing for the rain summoning ritual, so she shall be exempt from any additional chores. That is not the case for you two, however. Our village is a small one, and we need all the help we can get, particularly if we shall be feeding the 3 extra mouths. I would appreciate if you could learn your keep. Does that sound satisfactory? I'm more than happy to work. I would not wish to use your resources without aiding you in return. Sure, that is fine. I cannot depends on the task though. I'm only good at using my spear. When it comes to finances, I'm totally clueless. Please don't put me in charge of anything too complicated. I will not dream of it. I would make far more sense to play you to your unique strengths. Mala smiles. I believe you hail from a family of shamans, Ayana. Yes, that's right. Then I take it you know how to mix potions. I will not say I'm particularly good at it, but I can brew simple tinctures. I find that the simple things in life are often better and more effective than the unnecessarily complex. The princess is suffer from headaches, and our shaman cannot brew tinctures to quell her aches and pains quickly enough. Could you assist them whenever you are able? It would be my pleasure. Thank you. As for you, Yaja, Mala looks me up and down. Would you mind helping our hunters forage for food during the day? We are in dire need of supplies, and your expertise with the spear would be a boon. Sure thing. I'm pretty good at hunting, actually. My parents taught me a bunch of tips and techniques since I was a kid. Excellent. It's most syringes. Would it be too much to ask that you tend to duties during nightfall too? Strange monsters have been lurking in the woods when the sun falls, and we need experienced fighters to be on the lookout. It would not do for the village to be attacked. Strange monsters. I looked at Amala, her eyes narrowed. Are these the slimes the princess spoke of? Yes, indeed. They are oddities with transparent bodies which shimmer in the moonlight. They do not die when pierced with arrows or when cleaved with twain with swords. It only makes them multiply. They began appearing 5 years prior, and since then we have no little peace. That sounds familiar. I pull a face. It thanks to those awful monsters Coco went missing. I still have nightmares about their attacks on the village. The monsters do not come every night, nor every other night. Sometimes we go for months without seeing them, but at other times they besiege our village nightly. We have successfully fended them off every time they have attacked us, but their presence puts the people on edge. They are afraid of these monsters, and I do not blame them. They ought not to exist. They are unnatural and inorganic. I cannot allow them to live, nor wear the chance to harm my princess. Can you help to drive them away, Yaja? I do my best. I wasn't able to protect my own village from those monsters, but I'd be damned if I let them hurt anybody else. I give them what they deserve for causing us so much suffering. Thank you. I can see I was right to ask for your help. It is most obliged. You needn't worry about guarding the village tonight, however. You must be tired after coming all the way here. You need to rest your weary bones. Now shall we return to the princess' tent? I'm sure she will be eagerly anticipating your arrival. She may even ask you to entertain her this night with tales from your travels. She has resided in this village all her life, and she is quite starved for knowledge of the outside world. She can be awfully insistent at times, like a small child. Imala giggles, but I find it entertaining. There are a few across the land, I feel, who are half as adorable as my wonderful princess. Night soon falls, and when it does, Ayana are summoned by Eri to her bedchamber. Given her heir's royal status, we have no option but to obey her. Maya doesn't accompany us. She is too busy preparing for the upcoming ritual in a tent Imala prepared for her. Ayana and I were supposed to sleep in the tent too, but the princess has other plans. It's wonderful to see you two, the two of you again. Erin greets Ayana and I cordially when we enter her chamber. Her private chamber is purchased away from the rest of the by draping fabrics, and it looks large and luxurious. The floor is covered with soft rugs, and here is the bed takes up most of the space. A vast bed decked with soft sheets of plump cushions. The air smells faintly of perfume, and a candles glimmer by her bedside. Later, though it is, Ari herself is dressed in the same clothes that she wore when Ayana and I first met her. Upon her head is a golden crown, and her chest is covered in liberal golden chains. She is so beautiful, I feel momentarily overweight. Her room might be impressive, but her area is even more so. I am pleased to see you too, Your Highness. Ayana dropped onto one knee as she did when the first pledged her allegiance to Ari. It seems to be an appropriate thing to do, so I decided to follow suit. Same here, Your Highness. Ari observes us twinning a strand of hair about her index finger, smiling. She then says, "Goodness me, you do not need to be so formal. You're making me feel awkward." "But, Your Highness, I would prefer it if you called me Ari. I'm quite tired of being called Your Highness every day. It's a heavy title to bear." "I apologize, Your Highness, but I do not know if I can comply with that request. It would seem insulting." "There's hardly any insult. If I'm the one who demands it." Harry brow creases. "Oh, very well. I will not make you do anything you are uncomfortable with. I had no intention of what when I summoned you here." "Why did you ask us to come here, Anna might have some doubt about using Harry's name, but I've never been the one to mind my manners like she has. Harry doesn't want to be called Your Highness, and has way too many syllables. I think I'd rather cut to the chase and use her actual name. It makes her seem more approachable. Harry, I mean. Sorry about that." I get to my feet and offer Harry an easy grin. "I call you by your first name from now on, even if Ayana won't. Please tell me if I slip up. I'm kind of forgetful." "Goodness me." Ayana blinks surprised. "You're being awfully forward." "Shouldn't I be?" "Perhaps not. Her Highness is a princess after all." "But is it heartwarming to see you address her in so familiar a manner?" "Well, of course I'm going to speak to her like this. I want to get closer to her, and I do that. We got at the expense of all this formality. You can't be friends with someone if you're always bowing to them and calling them Your Highness." "Yeah. Harry blinks her eyes wide. You truly mean that?" "Sure I do." "Goodness." Harry holds a hand to her chest above her heart. "That's what I desire as well. It is why I summoned both you and Ayana to my tent, as a matter of fact. It has been a long while since I last had a company. I too wish to make your acquaintances. But I was unsure whether you would acquire or may make a princess acquaintance. But it is rare indeed to become her friend. I thought if I asked, I would make you uncomfortable." "You haven't. It's fine. Don't overthink things." Again, let's all get along, okay? All right. I would like that. I thought you might. Mala did mention you've been lonely. She did? Her cheeks turned pink. Curse that meddlesome priestess of mine. I warned her time and time again to remain silent on my private affairs, yet she refuses to listen. Does she talk about you often?" "Only all the time." Pouts. "She acts obedient enough, but she is an incorrigible gossip. She always chattering with the other villagers." It would not be so bad if she spoke of innocent subjects, but I fear she must be obsessed with me. I'm never far from her lips. She'll forever telling me people how dignified I am and how well mannered and how considerate. I think she means to curry favor with my people and in so doing improve upon my reputation, but her efforts are needless. My family has ruled this village for 3 centuries and we have remained stanchly steadfast popular. I would be beloved even without Imala magnificence. In fact, I fear it is precisely because of her ceaseless praise that my people prefer to keep their distance. Imala speaks as though I am some sort of infallible goddess. It would be enough to deter anybody. They put upon every princess heaves a heavy sigh. Imala devotion is appreciated, but it's rather heavy-handed. I wish she could find a new hobby beyond extolling all of my supposed virtues. It is embarrassing. Oh, jeez. I didn't know she was so intense. At least that's proof she likes you, though. I doubt she praised you half as much if she didn't think you were a good ruler. I know Imala likes me. That was never been up for debate. I'm concerned she may like me a bit too much, in fact. Harry sighs again and shakes her head. So what did my meddlesome priestess tell you? I hope she didn't stuff your heads full of silly nonsense. She didn't say anything particularly strange. She only mentioned that you've been feeling down since Coco left and you wanted more people to talk to. Harry bites her lower lip. Her cheeks looks red like 2 rose apples. I can't believe she would blab about all my darkest secrets like that. She must think me so desperate. I don't want you to be kind to me out of pity. That would be far too depressing. Oh goodness. Harry whimpers. You don't think me pathetic, do you? Of course not. I sit down by her side upon her luxurious bed and rest a hand upon her shaking shoulder. You don't need to be embarrassed, Harry. I'm not going to judge you, and I bet Ayana isn't either, right, Ayana? Oh, of course. Ayana's been lingering shyly by the entrance to Harry's bedchamber for a while, but she jumps up at being addressed. She crosses the room in a series of strides, then takes a seat on Harry's other side. She doesn't touch Harry's shoulder like me, but she does say in a gentle voice, I would never dream of sneering at you, Your Highness, for your situation are similar. I too know how it feels to be lonely. You do? Harry lets hands drop from her face and observes Ayana Askins. I thought you and Yada are childhood friends. When have you ever had the opportunity to feel loneliness as I? We are childhood friends, it is true, but Jaja and Coco were my only friends. I was ostracized in my village, you see, for my color of my hair. But your hair is lovely. Why would anybody take against you over such a trifle? White hair is such a mine is believed to be an ill omen among the people of my village. They thought me cursed by demons. The village elders kept their distance, and their children all sneered at me. If it weren't for and Coco, I would have been all lonely, alone. Then, when Coco disappeared, Ayana winces, I was devastated. I miss her so much. That is why I have been searching for her carelessly, alongside Jaja. I could not bear to let her go, not when she brought me such happiness. Oh, you poor thing. Harry's expression softened. I feel almost ashamed of complaining, having heard your story. I'm no stranger to loneliness myself, but I've never been shunned. My people all revere and respect me. I cannot imagine being revealed for reasons so petty as my appearance. This is quite all right, Your Highness. I did not tell you my tale to make you feel ashamed. I told you it to attempt to console you, though I see now that the idea may not have been the best. I apologize if I upset you. You don't need to apologize. If anything, you help put matters into perspective. I did wonder why you were so determined to discover Coco's whereabouts. That is one query cleared up. Harry takes Ayana's hand in her own and squeezes it. You might have had a difficult upbringing, but you needn't worry about facing baseless prejudice in my village. We do not share your village superstitions. You will be made most welcome here, for as long as you reside within my village walls. Her smile takes a slight bitterness like a raw kukuan beans, which may not be very long. I would not like to impede your search for Coco. Thank you, Your Highness. Your kindness is appreciated. Kindness is all I have to offer at the present. My village is not a prosperous one despite my clothes and my living quarters. But I hope my well wishes shall be enough to tide you over. I would not like to ask for anything more, it would feel improper. I think you worry a bit too much about propriety. You need to learn to relax around me. Anna's always had trouble opening up to people. But don't worry, I'm not half so stuffy. I'll be honored to befriend a girl as cute as you. Do you really think I'm cute? Now, how should I reply to this? Well, sure, the princess is cute, but I do actually think Ayana is cuter. And I'm always honest about everything, so. You're cute, sure, but I think Ayana might even be cuter. Oh, really? Yeah, pouts. I suppose the pair of you have been friends for a long while. It makes sense you would favor her over me, but oh well. Harry coughs. Harry coughs politely into her hand. It's not like I'm jealous or anything. Anyway, Harry coughs again. I take it you and Ayana have traveled far. Yep, we came all the way from... I tell her the name of a village, which prompts from her a gasp of surprise. You do not say. That is very far indeed. I know it's late and the pair of you will undoubtedly be tired, but would you mind regaling me with the tales of your adventures? I have not stayed far from the village in all my years. I cannot help but being curious. That's fine by me. I got a lot to tell you. Now let me see. Upon them my arms folded. I guess you could say our story began 3 years ago on the night our village was attacked. I launched into a dramatic account of the last 3 years for Aries' sake. It makes grand sweeping gestures with my hand, throw in a bunch of sound effects, and give my principal characters different voices. There's my own voice when I'm recounting my own dialogue, of course, but I give Ayana this soft, whispery tone while Maya gets a shrill, noxious voice that makes Aries snort. My epic retelling takes a couple of hours, All in all, I don't spare any detail, and I even blemish a few of the plot points. Harry winces when I tell her about the slime attack in my village, but she giggles when I tell her about my first glorious meeting with Maya. And the tumbles Ayana and I took into the lake when we went fishing. I feel pretty tired when I finish up. My throat dry from all the talking, and even my arms ache on account of all my gesticulating. Telling an interesting, evocative story, a lot harder than I thought it'd be. It was a lot of fun though. Aria at least seems to have enjoyed herself. Goodness me, Harry exclaimed, smiling. You really have experienced a lot. No idea. I guess, yeah. Ayana and I have been seen so much you could turn into an illustrated tapestry. Indeed. You could. It would have a lovely tale. It's full of mystery, intrigues, drama, and even a bit of romance. I must thank you for indulging my idle curiosity, Yada. It's very good of you, but Harry yawns. Sleep beckons and I'm beginning to grow very. Same here. It's kind of late, huh? Must well past midnight. Should Jaja and I leave you to your slumber, Your Highness? Oh no, I don't want that. Then what should we do? I apologize, but Hannah yawns again. I cannot remain awake much longer. I do not need to. You and Jaja are more than welcome to pass the night with me in my room. The bed is more than big enough for the three of us, and it should be comfier than the tent Imala would have you sleep in. I know this is a full request, but I do get lonely on my own, and well, I toys distinctly with her eyebrow curls and gazed downwards. We are friends now, are we not? I think it's normal for friends to sleep together unless you do not wish to. I would not want to push you. Please feel free to refuse, the princess though I may be. I would rather be friend than an authority figure. It looks like Ari getting herself all worked up. She's so earnest I can't help but smile. There's no way I could turn her down after this. Shall I spend the night with you? Yes, that is what I expected. It would be awkward to slumber with me as being strangers. I'm sure you would far rather... Wait, what? Harry looks utterly stunned. I guess I got to spell things out for her. I said I spend the night with you. I don't mind at all. I bet Ayana doesn't either, isn't that right? Well, Anna flusters. I'm a bit worried about it, but if you don't mind, Jaja, I suppose I can go along with it for now. I would not wish to upset you, Your Highness. Yeah, you see, there's no problem here. We both fall for it. Now let's get on the covers. Your bed looks so nice and soft, Harry. I can't wait to lie down. A lot happened today and I feel exhausted. A nice long rest is just what the doctor ordered. That is how Ayana and I end up passing the night in Harry's bed. Sleeping in the same room as a genuine princess proves to be a strange experience. Even I'm a bit worried at first about being disrespectful, but I remind myself that I was Ari who requested our company. Fortunately, Ari's bed is very large. There's easily enough space to accommodate the trio of us, as she stated earlier. That is quite a relief. If I had to brush shoulders with Ari all night, I get so antsy I'd never be able to get any sleep. Not just that she's a princess, she's also incredibly cute. I had to force myself not to stare at her when she undresses. I wonder what the punishment for looking at a princess with a lecturious intent. Imala would probably know, being a rare priestess and her second in command. Would it be sentenced to having my eyes peeked out by crows? Doesn't that sound a little too harsh? I decided to keep my distance from Mary as I could beneath the covers. I don't want to get involved in any controversy. I turned my face away from Mary's and tried to sleep, my hair spinning across the feather-filled pillows. Pillows are wondrously soft, as are the sheets. Incredibly luxurious, much more than the rough, coarse bedding I'm used to back at home. I feel ready to fall asleep seconds after my head hits the pillow. Your Highness, I don't mean to disturb you, and certainly I would never presume to tell you what to do, but you're lying quite close to me, and But I start to squeeze shakes off the encroaching slumber. I sit up in a spacious bed, the covers piling about me, and I blink. It doesn't take me long to detect the source of the plaintively cry. And that's the picture. So that was all I have for Sakura Forest Girls 2 this time. As you like the shop, and see you next time. Bye bye!